Hello, all you lovely magical beings out there. Welcome to my channel and to my second video where we will be reflecting on the Sufi Tarot. And this is a very exciting deck for me. But before we talk about the deck, let me introduce myself. My name is Reem and I am the Anxious Coach. Why the Anxious Coach? Because I have anxiety, and this way I am owning my anxiety and turning it into a resource, into a source of empowerment where I help myself and help others find their empowerment. Now, as most of you, I love tarot, I love oracle cards, and I use it for myself as well as in my coaching practice. So I'm always looking for different decks with different themes and so on. And one of the things that I haven't found is a deck with Middle Eastern people or Arab people. Excuse me. And I forgot to mention that I am half Arab, half German. And I grew up in a Muslim household. I try to be a practicing Muslim. So I hardly ever found a deck that is, let's say, tailored or at least includes Muslims and Arabs. And so here comes the Sufi Tarot, which not only has images of the desert, has Middle Eastern looking people and themes. It also has an Islamic theme to it. Now, I don't know much about the Sufism, but it is the mystical side of Islam. But so what I gather is you don't have to be Muslim in order to be Sufi. And the author or creator of this deck, Ayeda Husain, and by the way, it's published by Hay House. She is a Sufi instructor as well as a tarot reader. So for her, this project is what she calls bridging the gap between two worlds that she really loves, tarot and Sufism. So for her, this deck is about transforming your life with Ancient Sufi Wisdom. Now, even though this focuses a lot on Sufi teachings, but these Sufi teachings are also Islamic principles. So which was also pretty fun to work with. I'm currently working with it. So I did mention that the images are beautiful. The theme is very beautiful. Now for the issues that I'm kind of not too fond of. So number one, for an Arab speaker, I enjoy the names on the Major Arcana. So for instance, instead of temperament, it's sabr. Instead of the world, it's dunya. I'm familiar with these words, whether it's in the everyday language or within the Islamic philosophy. Some words are in Farsi, which I wouldn't know how to pronounce or have any feelings towards. And this is what made me think of how it is for the non-Arab speakers who would have a difficult time pronouncing the words, and the book doesn't even talk about, give a suggestion on how to pronounce it. I would imagine, again, for a non-Arab, that they would have a difficult time relating to the words, since basically, so if you have the death card, instead of death, you have mot. It's not the same. And my worry is that people would get caught on trying to pronounce. So that's mainly my number one issue. When we look at the minor arcanas, where half of them have Arabic or Persian names, the other half is in English. So it would have been nice to see some kind of consistency. So the other part, which isn't much of, it's not a big issue, but it's like it causes a bit of a but. um, Now, the overall theme is Middle Eastern, Iranian, Islamic, so forth. And then you have three cards, which seem more of, they seem to be African in nature, which had it been like a diverse deck, it would have been perfect. But just to have three diverse deck cards and that's it makes it look like it doesn't belong in this deck. But the images are still very beautiful, but I would have liked to see more consistency. That's pretty much it. If you are going to get the deck, then I definitely suggest that you read the Little White Book because it has information on Sufism as well as tying the tarot deck, the card, to the Sufi or the Islamic teaching or philosophy. So if you pick, for some reason I got the death card again. So basically it has a description on it. Sometimes it has a quote, either by Rumi or another Sufi philosopher, followed by contemplation. And these are questions that you could ask yourself. And finally, affirmations. Now, one thing I found interesting as well is in the beginning of the book, so Ayeda Husain mentioned the history of the tarot, and she said that it was based on, or it started at the Mamalik Empire, which was in Egypt. I forgot the date, and that's when it started, and then it went to Italy and so on. Now, this is not. There's a lot of discussion on the history of the tarot, but it doesn't seem like anyone really knows, or actually you have a camp that knows exactly where it's from, and they tell you it's from ancient Egypt or it's from Italy and now it's from the Muslims. And then you have the other camp that says we don't know, we assume. So she does have references at the end of the book, so I might just take a look at that and see how she got to that conclusion. And that's it. So let's dive into the cards. So we start our journey with a Fool. Over here in this deck, it's the Salik. Salik means basically being on a journey, and the word itself uses the masculine pronoun for Salik. But we have the image of this young person, young female, who is, she feels safe guided, she is protected, and she is practicing tawakkul. Tawakkul basically, it's an Islamic teaching or principle whereby I do everything that I can, but then trust that God, Allah, takes care of me. And and this is the power that allows her to move into her journey. So then I guess we can say she meets the alchemist, which is usually that's the magician. Only the reason why she chose alchemist, the creator, because, and she makes it clear, he is not a magician. The alchemist transforms. He has mastered his skills. He knows the Sufi teachings. He practices gratitude, mindfulness, meditation, and so on. So now that he has all this knowledge, he is transforming it, and he's manifesting and creating. Now this is a card about motion, not stillness, and it's about the outer, or what is seen rather than the unseen. Because now when we look at the high priestess, which here is the murshida, and this is pretty cool because the murshida means she who guides. So isn't it cool to have a she who guides as in a tarot deck? So with the murshida, she's all about being, while the alchemist perhaps represents the masculine in terms of doing. the Murshida represents the feminine. It's about being. The alchemist is all about the outer world, but she's about the inner world, you know, that spiritual part of us, that not mindfulness, intuition. She represents that divine guidance, intuition, sacred knowledge, and the subconscious mind. And now we also have the Empress, who so this is a new word that I just learned, and it's Farsi for Empress. And I'm assuming it is pronounced Shahbanu. And let's bring the Sultan, which is Arabic for emperor, since they represent the masculine and the feminine. So the Empress, the Shahbanu, she represents the nurturing, creativity, and she embodies Rahma, which is actually it's the name of my sister, but that's not important. So she embodies Rahma, which means compassion, and the author, or Ayeda, goes further into linking it to unconditional love, and she has the power of imagination. Now for the Sultan, he is all about passion and logic. He recognizes kindness and the importance of being conscious. Okay, so he also has that balance between the heart and the ego, the qalb, which is heart, and the ego, which is nafs. Now we have the Hierophant, sometimes known as the Pope, but over here he is known as, I believe it's Pir. It's a Farsi word. And what I found interesting about this card is, now when it comes to the Hierophant, there is a lot of negativity towards it because of its connotation to organized religion, Christianity, and so on. So here, rather than having a religious figure, we have a person who guides us, but he doesn't guide us within religion as much as it's about matters of the heart, or let's say the heart knowledge, and that's why we see this line, or energy, or whatever we want to call it, coming out of his heart and going upwards. I tried to read what's written over here, but couldn't. Maybe I could work on it later on. And now we come to the Lovers. And it's basically, it's the Arabic word for the two lovers, ashiqan. Yeah, I know that is a mouthful. So now in the Lovers card, there's usually the debate or the discussion where people see it as it's a romantic card, where other people see it, no, it's about commitment and making a choice and so on. Here, her interpretation is that it's about spiritual completion, the balance of the masculine and the feminine. So I'm talking about balance. Here's another one, and this is usually the Chariot, but over here it's the Wali, and the card symbolizes the need to balance between the body and the soul, and both must be nurtured. Strength. Okay, now I really appreciate all the energy and work and time that's been put into the deck, but whenever I get this card, I have to laugh. I mean, I know it's mean, but the lion looks stoned to me. But then maybe he's just closing his eyes and he's resting. maybe I just need to look deeper into myself and look at why I'm struggling with this card. It's still a beautiful card. And so the Strength card, and we have the word quwwa here, which is Arabic for strength. Now, a lot of times non-Arab speakers would put an AT at the end of an Arabic word for grammatical reasons. So if you want to choose to pronounce it as quwwat, I guess that's okay for a non-Arab speaker, but as an Arab speaker it would be quwwa. So this card is about love over fear and trust over distrust, and having an open heart over the ego. And it's supposed to be all about purity. I mean, I guess it would be nice to, sleep or put my head on top of a lion and just trust that the lion wouldn't eat me. So yeah, maybe I'll grow to appreciate this card even more. And this card in specific, I think the Strength card is beautiful. So now we move into the Hermit, and the word here is, for an Arabic speaker it would be Darwish. For a Persian or Turkish, it would be Dervish. And it is about a spiritual state of being and connecting with the divine, or like a higher power. And now we move into the Wheel of Fortune, and so this, okay. So the first word I forgot how to pronounce it because it is a Farsi word. So perhaps either Sharka or Sharja, but yeah. So okay. So Sharkha maybe, and Falak. Falak means sky, and this translates into the wheel in the sky. And it is about faith and destiny, universal intelligence, as well as change, and a turning point. And now for Justice. Now this is the first card of the African themed. And there, as I had mentioned, that there are three. So this is one of the it just kind of gets me out of that mind frame, not the mind frame of the mood of the cards, but it is still very beautiful. And having the sword and the scales, it's still a very beautiful card. And so the word here is adl, which means justice, and the card is linked to honesty, moral sensitivity, as well as reminds us to do self-assessment and hold ourselves accountable, or like assess what do we hold ourselves accountable for. But it's also a reminder of divine justice. So it's just nice to get a card like that and reminds us that there is a divine justice in this world. But also with that divine justice, it's not enough to just believe in that divine justice. We have to assess our own choices and actions and how we contribute to the injustice, even if it was done to us. The Hanged Man, Taslim, which translates into surrender. So he looks comfortable. Okay, so Taslim is, or the Hanged Man, is all about surrender, and by having this pose, his heart is elevated over the mind. So, so the heart is elevated over the mind, and by this, it reminds us, or it invites us to connect with our heart. see with our heart, have a different perspective, and also by basically challenging our physical comfort. This is when we allow for physical growth. Death. And this is such a beautiful and elegant card. So death, or Maut, is about transformation and rebirth. Temperament, and so we have here Sabr. Sabr means patience. So this card invites us to be patient, to practice balance, and to practice acceptance for what the Sufis see as our angelic nature. It is an equilibrium. Okay, I'm adding a tongue twist. So it's an equilibrium between inner and the outer, the emotion and the logic. Hence, so she's standing on the ground and going into the water. Also between the spiritual and the physical, earth and water, and the material versus the conscious. The devil, also known as nafs. And nafs is our ego. Here in particular, it's our lower ego. And it's about the fears and attachments. So it doesn't look at it as, the devil, but it's about our own. So it asks us to examine our own fears, our own attachments, and addictions. Things that hold us back and prevent us from seeking higher spiritual, going into the spiritual realm. The tower, minar, and minar basically means enlightenment. Manara is a lighthouse, and so there's this beautiful quote from this book, from the booklet, and it's a Sufi thought that a house must be demolished to discover the treasure hidden beneath it. And now for the star. Now, this is pretty cool. So here the keyword is sitara, which I came to find out means star in Farsi. However, in Arabic, sitara is curtain, and that made me think a bit about the star card. So now, star is usually it's about that northern star, the guide. Over here, it looks like she is creating her own path towards the light, and according to the author, the creator, Ayeda, the star is our divine light, and it's also our human form. So in Sufism, so you have the head, and then you have the two arms, and you have the two legs, and then this card we're surrounded by seven tiny stars, which represents the seven chakras. So the card reminds us about being pointed to the nur, which is light, and it's a card about hope and blessing. And now we go into the moon, and so the keyword here is qamar, which is moon in Arabic. And it is about clarity and receptive of the light of the divine truth. So it's about truth and openness. The sun, or the keyword shams. And basically this is a reminder that we have everything we need to shine. So in the booklet, she was mentioning a Quranic parable of two orphan youths who were basically who came across a wall, and beneath that wall there was a secret treasure. So she briefly talks about it, but I'm a bit curious because I've never come across this story. So and it being linked to the Quran, so it was a bit interesting. But it's still a beautiful card, right? I like the sun. And now we have the Mizan, which is judgment. And rather than looking at it as a judgment, like from a religious perspective, where we go into heaven or hell, this is more of a transformation. So we see the butterflies here. It's not about judgment per se, but about renewal, awakening, and resurrection. And it's about liberation, since we rise above and out of our old life. So here's also another quote. So for Sufis, every day is a day of judgment, and every moment is a chance to resurrect. So it's never over until we basically decide it's over. There's always room for improvement, and for us to just take steps forward. And finally, we come to the end of the journey, and it's the world card. Dunya. And this is so cool to see that they're basically the same people. So Dunya represents the world, and we see the symbols of the four elements. Here we have the desert. So this is the map. So the map of Asia. So here's Saudi Arabia, and we have parts of Iran, Africa, and then so the desert, and then here we have, this desert, and then we have the green, the water, the mountain, and the idea of the card is that it's about coming home. It signifies a return to one's true nature or higher self after a long journey. And so basically, once this person who was the Salika, the person who was on the journey, that she discovers that the entire universe is within her. Okay, now for the minor arcanas, we start with the Ace, beginnings. So look at that. That is such an incredible card. About balance, not just balance, but harmony. If you're playing the drums, and there needs to be in sync happening, choices. And one thing that I also enjoy is that it is the desert theme, and I believe I mentioned that before. So here you also have the desert theme. With the Two of Staff, it gives you even more power and energy to go through the desert. The Two of Cups. This is such a lovely card. And the Threes. So three about growth and okay. So celebration. This three just reminds me of grief, pure grief. And sometimes we just have to live with that grief for a while, be with that grief. The Three of Staff, to me, this looks a bit African. One of the three cards that kind of disappoint me. But hey, I'll live and I'll still love the cards, and I'll use them often. So the Three of Staff, he is waiting for the ships to come. Three of Coins, working together, teamwork. So after coming from the number 3 which is a shake-up number. It's time to rest. So we see that in the Four of Swords, who is completely exhausted and is sleeping. With the Four of Cups, that person is bored. It doesn't appreciate what he has, and he's just not satisfied. Four of Coins is saving money, and so it's a good reminder for us not to shop for new tarot and decks, new tarot and oracle decks. Four of Staff, another card of celebration. Now for the conflict. So, Five of Staff. It doesn't look like they're having a friendly competition happening. It looks like a fight is starting and attacking and just it's an unsettling card. The Five of Swords. He seems like the gentleman here. He conquered. He killed. Okay, I lost my train of thought, but anyway, so you got it. I wonder if he's looking at them as, yay, did I kill them? Or that remorse of, oops, what did I do now? The Five of Cups. Sadness. Wonder if she's sad because the cups broke and they had sentimental value, or did she break them? With the Five of Coins, this is just a beautiful, heartbreaking card. I mean, that rejection, despair. It feels like all doors are closed. But moving from conflict and sadness, we go into the Six. So look at that. Look at how happy she is and how excited she is. The Six of Swords, moving from darkness into the light. So there's a change happening. There's a shift going on. The Six of Coins, there's an exchange going on. The Six of Cups invites us to do some healing. Maybe it revolves around inner child work, or just healing childhood wounds and traumas. So 6, and now it's 7. So with the 7 here, with the Seven of Cups, it's a reminder not to get too indulged in the physical world and forget about the spiritual realm. This lady, she just doesn't know which one to choose, and it's it's frustrating her a lot. It's stressing her out. The Seven of Staff, she is harnessing her powers. That's what it looks like, right? That she's moving the staff. With the Seven of Coins, the farmer is waiting for, he did his job. He planted, he is watering them, and now it's a matter of surrendering, believing he did everything he can. The Seven of Swords, it's about deceit. So he's running from the light into the darkness. So it's a reminder to assess, for us to look into what choices are we making? Are we honest people, or are we deceitful? Do we lie? So these two cards bring us. Actually, we could look at all of them. That they bring us back to. For us to assess our wants and our needs and how to move forward. The 8. So here we have another card. So we can look at it as feeling trapped. This is so cool with the swords. It looks like blinds. And with the 8 of Staff, rushing. Now it's time to get to work and not stop, but just do it. If you have a project that you want to work on, go do it. let's your power. With the Eight of Cups, rather than lacking gratitude and boredom and so on, this person is practicing surrender, tawakkul. He has faith that even though he has everything he needs, he has the water, he has the food, but something else is calling him, and so he's taking the call and he's going out of his comfort. The Eight of Coins reminds us to put practice into our craft. Now for the 9. So the 9 of Swords, worry, anxiety. The 9 of Staff. This was pretty interesting. Reading the where did I put the book? The little book. So in the 9 of Staff has a very beautiful perspective, and so it's about fatigue. What happens when the storm is over? Are you able to take a deep breath, or do you continue to keep your defense up? Sometimes we act strong on the outside but feel weak within, running on empty, in need of a fire's positive energy. Sometimes we are unable to live in the moment because we are carrying negative impression from the past, living in a state of constriction as opposed to expansion. Now, how many of us can relate to that? That, the stress is over, I do want to keep it light, but just thinking of traumatic moments, heartache and so on, where the event is over, but we are still living in that moment. We are still living with our grief, anger, and so on. And that's fully okay to be there, to be in that place. But perhaps that is another way of examining where we are right now. Even with the 9 of Swords, that anxiety and worry, just be aware of our emotions and thoughts. The 9 of Coins, she waited, and now the palm trees are producing fruits. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be dates or not. I mean, they look a little bit big for dates, but it's still pretty cool that we have palm trees. The 9 of Cups. I mean, look at that. That is so beautiful. Community coming together. This reminds me of oneness. The people came together. They're playing sacred music or sacred drumming, and they're connecting with the divine. But with that connection, there's that reminder that we are all one. So look at that. And as we know that the 9 of Cups, it's the card of joy. So, and almost that reminder that that your wishes are coming true. Wishes are being fulfilled. Now, so one thing to add before we move into the 10. Now, the way I see it, the 9 is the number of completion, and 1 is the beginning. The 10 is that transition between, the completion and the starting new. I know a lot of people look at the 10 as being the number for completion. So putting that in mind, so here are the 10s, and so this is the third card, the third African card. That I just feel like it doesn't fit into the theme of the deck, or not the theme, but the I guess the theme. So the 10 of Swords. So the war is over now, and this person perhaps is thinking of the losses and thinking of what he or she had to do in order to win. So there is no winning or losing. So the question now is how to move forward. Ten of Coins, communities coming together in celebration, and just, you know, my dog suddenly snored very loud. See, yeah, okay, so I get distracted very easily. Okay, so the Ten of Coins is about, you know, our legacy. Now we've gained, we have, you know, we have abundance. Now let's all enjoy that abundance. The Ten of Staff, a poor guy carrying all that and going up a hill. So perhaps this person is carrying a lot of burden, and maybe it's time to ask a question. Is it worth it? Is it all worth it? What is that person giving up? And what will happen if by carrying that burden and that overload for a very long time? The Ten of Cups, you know, happiness and joy and family, and you know, well, I could leave that rant for later, but I always wonder, you know, what is it? A Ten of Cups represents family. Well, what about people who don't prioritize family? So does this mean that card doesn't represent anything to them? But anyway. So now we move into the court cards. So now for the court cards, and they are basically they're the daughter, which is page, the son, which is the knight, and Malika, which is the Arabic word for queen, so it represents the queen, and then the Shah, which is Farsi for king, and it represents the king. We can look, if we follow the Sufi view, that, you know, it's about the balance of the masculine and the feminine. So here we have the feminine and the masculine. The daughter and the son, they represent that young innocence, that excitement about life, that explorer, and reckless. They lack the wisdom, but the Malika and the Shah, they are the mature masculine and the feminine. They have the wisdom. They're comfortable in their role. So we start with the daughter, who is also known as the page. She's young, she lacks the experience, she has curiosity, she wants to discover the world. In the Daughters of Staff, she dances, she's participating in a dance of inspiration and creativity. She's wild, she's free, she's nonconformist. The Daughter of Sword, she is a kick-ass. She's courageous, she's not afraid, she's excited, and she's exploring the world, and maybe even thinking of how she is going to be the hero, whether in her own story or save the world. The two birds, I don't know, they remind me of fairy tales, you know, how like Snow White, she had the birds with her, she spoke to them, and I think, right, and she understood them, they understood her. So just fresh and young. So the Daughter of Cup, it's all about the emotions, and she's dreaming, she's flowing in her own thoughts. She believes in magic and fairy tales, and just I don't know, just being. She's enjoying her time. The Daughter of Coin, she has curiosity, she's exploring the world, she's grounded, and she honors the physical world. So we have the young son, the young masculine, who is passionate and is rebellious. He's free-spirited, he's fierce, but he doesn't necessarily have a plan how he's going to do it. He's just rushing upwards or towards his heart's desire, that flame. which could be translated as his passion. In the Son of Swords, he is quick, he's sharp, but he might lack the tactiness. He's tactless, which might cause him to be reckless. The Son of Coins, he is grounded, he's patient, he's practical and hardworking, and is thinking of ways on how to capture the horse. The Son of Cups, it's that romantic knight, he who will cross the ocean for you. He's following his heart, and he's building a bridge between him and his loved one, you know. But does he have the plan? The plan for it? It doesn't matter. No, he is determined. I had so much fun just hanging out with these 4 women. I mean, look at them. Each one of them is powerful. She is comfortable. She is confident within her own domain. The Malika of Staff, she has embraced her passion. She's not afraid of it. She embraces her power, and she's not afraid of who she is. She knows exactly who she is and what she wants. The Malika of Sword, she is a kick-ass. She is confident. She is settled into her own skin, and she is a protector. She would do anything to ensure the safety. There's the cat. So, and now the cat distracted me. Okay, so back to the Malika of Sword. Well, look at that dress and the colors, and I'd wanna, fight with her side by side to protect the castle, to protect our loved ones and the people. The Malika of Cups, she looks happy. She's compassionate. She is creative. She is settled into her own heart. The Malika of Coins, she's grounded. She's a healer. She's enjoying her abundance, or she's enjoying the abundance that she has. The Malika of Coins is someone I'd want to drink coffee with and just, have a chill time. Malika of Cups, maybe just laugh, enjoy life. The Malika of Swords, fight together, protect. The Malika of Staff, maybe do some meditation or harness our powers. Maybe do some magical spells. I don't know. So the king, or here it's the Shah, he is that mature aspect of the masculinity. The Shah of Staff is someone who has mastered his fire, his passion. He is assertive. With the Shah of Sword, he has intellectual power and authority. He has wisdom. Maybe he's a judge or a mediator. But he also has a wooden leg, or a leg made out of wood. And the reason for that is because, according to Sufis, by following your intellectual or your mind, you can go so far. So you need to follow your heart. Now with the Shah of Coin, interestingly, he looks older than the rest of them, or is it just my eyes? I mean, he has gray hair. The others, yeah. So the Shah of Coin, he has material success. He's sitting on his throne, which looks like it's golden, and he is surrounded by abundance. The Shah of Cups, so if you look, you can see it. So it looks like he's sitting in a cave behind a waterfall, and this represents mature emotions, the balance between the heart and the mind. So now that we've looked at the cards themselves, one final note is that Ayeda Husain did include a spread, a unique spread actually, which is the Sufi Tarot 5-pointed star spread. If you remember during the star card, it was mentioned that Sufis believe that the star takes up of a human shape, or let's say the human shape is of a star. So, and this is what the spread is. Oh, nope, wrong page. So, yeah, okay, I should have included that earlier, but okay. Okay, here we go. So number 1 is the head, and it's a logical identification of the challenge. 2 and 3 are arms, what you need to know or do in the present. 4 and 5 are legs, what you need to know or do in the future. And the heart is the heartfelt answer, solution, or way to proceed forward from your heart space. That's it. And so thank you very much for still being here and for listening. I would love to hear your opinion, whether you already purchased the deck, or you're thinking about purchasing the deck, or maybe you're not going to purchase the deck and perhaps you found one image intriguing. Whatever your thought is, I would love to hear it. So take care, be safe, and remember that you are magic.